Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be pulling off the number iC1000 Numeronius Numeronia. This is the strongest monster in the history of YuGiOh to come out in terms of attack. It's the highest attack that we have in the game, with the attack being 100,000. Now, it's not easy to pull off for multiple reasons. One, to pull it off, you can do it relatively easy with Numeron Network, but it does require your opponent to actually pop things and also not read cards. It's super difficult to pull off, just as a heads up. In case any of you guys do want to try this, it's hard. So if you guys wouldn't mind doing me a favor, drop a like on this, because this footage is super hard to actually come by, because it's just really difficult over here. But we are going to be actually pulling it off. So what it requires you to do, and I'll explain the steps here. So you got to actually get the Numeron Chaos Gate Sunya to be destroyed by a card effect. Now, this can be yours or your opponent's, which is a little bit easier over here. Then what you have to do is actually utilize Chaos Ritual. Again, this is after the Sunya has to be destroyed by another monster effect. And then you have to bring out C1000 Numeronius. This card is actually pretty good, though. It has a quick effect, lets you go and disrupt, go and pop a card your opponent has. It's technically just another monster on the field. But if this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, so this is the difficult part. Your opponent has to have multiple destructions in order for this to really kind of go in your favor. So this card has to also be destroyed after Chaos Gate Sunya was destroyed, and you have Chaos Ritual. Then you get to pull off the monster. But the monster, even though it's the strongest monster in the history of YuGiOh for the amount of attack that it has, it might not be the best in terms of actually getting it out, but and actually having its effect go off. But the effect of this card is insane. It has 100,000 attack during your opponent's turn, and if this card doesn't battle, and they have to try to battle it, you're going to actually win the duel because of it. You also have like a Utopia. If they declare an attack, you can detach material, negate the attack, and then gain a bunch of life points. But the monster itself doesn't really protect itself via any targeting, any other variations of destruction. And the card is just gone just like that. So I wanted to go ahead and start off the video with the deck taking an L over here. If you go ahead and try to turbo it out, it's really difficult to pull off. But I want to go ahead and show you guys that as a start. Now, it is not the easiest thing to not only pull off, but then trying to get that effect is an absolute nightmare for any of you guys that are interested in playing against, meta. Like, this deck didn't beat against like the most S tier of decks. It's not going to be for that. It's just the most powerful monster in terms of attack coming out in 2021. But in terms of it actually being like viable for any of you guys that are interested in competitive YuGiOh, I would say zero, far away from this deck. But it's more for collectors, and on top of that, for the people that really like the hype, being able to summon really cool monsters. Like, YuGiOh doesn't always have to be only play the best deck. This is more so, I want to say it's kind of a fun deck, but it's really difficult to pull off. But there's actually two different builds here, and we'll show off the deck actually winning with that win condition. But I wanted to go ahead and start off the video to not get people's hopes up and thinking, oh, this deck is OP, is broken, or anything like that, because I want to give it to you guys more legit. Now, obviously, with change tactics, drawing lots of cards is quite great. Being able to actually go into Diamond Dude is actually going to be a very powerful effect. Getting that instant effect, not requiring the summon conditions or basically the negative part of a lot of spell effects, which we actually just covered, a Diamond Dude being utilized. Now, one thing that you can combo with Diamond Dude really well with is Diamond Dude plus the Feather of Phoenix, which lets you go and target a card in your graveyard, and then you get to basically top deck it, therefore getting the effect of Diamond Dude to be 100% whatever you really want at the end of the day. But you'll see the change tactics activating once again, and there's also the new Time Thief card, which we'll kind of go over later, as there are going to be multiple deck profiles for this build. Now, with number 27 Dreadnought, it does have that ability to go ahead and summon anything that you really want to go ahead and go for. It's one rank 10 or higher Machine and Seed monster, which you will actually have targets, and you can actually rank up into it, which is actually another variation to go ahead and pull off. Again, both of them are not what I would consider the most easy things to pull off in YuGiOh. It's very difficult. One, you have to rely on your opponent not really reading the card effects, because they're not going to be destroying it anytime soon, unless, of course, they just don't read, and they're like, okay, pop it, right? You see a big monster, the reaction for most people is to go ahead and check out what the effect does, but again, you really need a lot of things to go in your favor, so we're going to go ahead and see a Zeus, just in case anything goes bad over here. We're going to go ahead and delete the board. What we're going to try to do is get a specific set of monsters into the graveyard, and you'll see what's going to be happening very soon over here with the Diamond Dude over here, and it has that effect to reveal the top card, and then if the top card happens to be a spell card, you get to go ahead and gain that effect of that spell card during the main phase of your next turn. You can just activate it in your graveyard. Even if this card goes away, you still will have that awesome ability. This one actually takes quite a while to go ahead and pull off, just as a heads up. This one's basically using the Utopia to go ahead and stall, and on top of that, this guy's just attacking some of the smaller monsters to go ahead and get rid of them. But on top of that, if he does attack Soul, we have to go ahead and use that effect of Utopia. So we're using Utopia to basically stall it out to get the right stuff from the graveyard. Obviously, you can get it out much faster by other means. Sometimes, you know, you just don't happen to have the heart of the card, so Utopia is going to go ahead and go away, and now he's going to go ahead. I guess he's afraid of the back row. I would have just attacked into it. Utopia, obviously, with no materials, goes away quite fast, but we need a very specific amount of things to go ahead and go right. We're going to go ahead and see the token come out once again. He's going to go ahead and attack and start running in over everything. I don't know why he's not attacking this. I think he's just afraid that there might be some like surprise card. So here's the important part over here. So he's going to go ahead and chain, bring back a Murphy or Melfi. Diamond Duke going to go ahead and activate effect for the Sunya. And then the next turn over here, he's going to go ahead and get that effect. Again, I don't know why he's playing so passive over here. But now we're going to get the effect and utilize all the Exceed monsters that are in the graveyard and go for the Numeronius over here, and he's going to go ahead and be able to pop a card with that ability. And the guy summons Mystical Beast Force, popping this card, because again, this is why this is so like impossible to go ahead and pull off. He didn't understand, I guess, that like you would bring out this card. Maybe like he was thinking that the other card would be good, but then once this card comes out and you have that negate effect, it is very difficult for a lot of decks. If they can't pop it that turn, they just simply lose, because remember, at the end of your opponent's turn, if this card did not battle, you just win the duel over there. So there's a win condition with this. Again, it is very, 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 very difficult to go ahead and pull off. But I want to go and show you guys a lot of different ways that you can win with this deck without doing that. Like, the deck is still pretty good, and there's a lot of really cool gameplay that you guys will see very soon over here. And again, it's going to be against what I would consider not super meta. I mean, this deck isn't that bad. I mean, once you get it set up, it is actually quite nasty to deal with. Of course, the all the pluses that they can get with the archetype, and then you can't really like attack them. Just becomes just a hassle. But he's going to go ahead and have the armor tile. It's got 10,000 attack, and he's going to go ahead and tribute, so he can't negate the attack, attacking over the Kaiju over here. And then we're going to go ahead and see the Zexal Construction being activated, and he's going to get a lot of free advantage over here with the new Time Thief Adjuster, which will go over the effect of this card, especially just adding another card to the grave. It really helps out for future plays. But we're going to go ahead and see the rank up variant over here. So with Doom Double Force, which we're going to see very soon over here, once that card is destroyed, he's going to go ahead and go for Regulator. So Doom Double Force lets him go right into C1000 Numeronius. And again, one thing that's cool with this card, it actually has another really cool effect over here, where not only do you have that quick effect where you can detach material and pop another monster on the field, but at the end of the battle phase, you destroy as many other monsters on the field as possible. Then you could special summon one monster from your opponent's graveyard in defense position. That's actually a really good strategy with this deck, is to go ahead and summon a Kaiju if your opponent happens to utilize one. Therefore, they can't Kaiju you, because obviously if you happen to have like the super boss monster, 100,000 attack, if you get Kaiju, you're going to be very sad, because, well, you just lost out on your super boss monster that was not easy to go ahead and pull off. So we're going to go ahead and see the Time Thief Redoer, as well as the Kaiju going to go ahead and get some extra attack. And on top of that, this card does happen to have that effect at the end of the battle phase. That is mandatory effect to go and pop all your monsters. So obviously the Redoer is just going to go ahead and go away, and he just really couldn't do anything at this point. So this card just can win on its own, which is quite cool. But there's a lot of really awesome gameplays in here, which you guys will probably be like, what the heck? You guys will be in it for a surprise for sure. We're actually going to see a variant here where we're going to see an Egyptian God, we're going to see Quasar. It's going to be very, very hype over here. But we're going to go ahead and see the Disparity activated. So, like, the main setup is really Numeron Network. Like, the fastest way to get it out is really Numeron Network, then using a Unchained card. Technically, you can just pop with scraps too, but for the most part, the easiest way to go ahead and pull it off would be like Numeron Gate, or Network turn 1, go ahead and summon the Gate Sunya, then go ahead and pop it. And then you also remember have to have the Chaos Ritual in your hand to go ahead and pop and get that effect off. And then you got to go ahead and make this card. Then your opponent has to go ahead and pop it via card effect, which again isn't the easiest thing, but remember that this card will be able to potentially get a huge amount of attack. attack and then one-shot your opponent too. So it's not just like a super cheesy deck that only has one way to win, which is why I want to go ahead and show you guys a variety of replays over here. So this guy's playing some variant of a synchro deck. We will go ahead and see one of the most hype Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I feel like, of all time. That is one of the OG, like, super end-all boss monsters, which is Shooting Quasar Dragon. One of my favorite synchros that would be considered like a boss monster, because back in the day when you would make this, it was like super hard and everyone thought it was like really cool when you pulled it off. Like when you got this card out, you won. But nowadays, a turn 1 Quasar, unless you have like 10 more negates, like, it's just not that great. It only negates once. Well, we have so many other cards like Appaloosa, both Goddess, which can negate multiple different things. And on top of that, you're very invested usually when you go ahead and pull off a Quasar. Especially with the newer ban list not giving us triple Librarian, which, if we had triple Librarian, I think Synchros would be a lot better, honestly, but because of the amount of hand traps also in the game. So he's going to go ahead and get rid of the Numeron network, so he's not going to be able to get access to that. Not that it really matters here. He's got the Egyptian God Slime, but this one is going to be really hyped because something comes out of what I felt like was straight up nowhere. So he's going to go ahead and now be able to go ahead and start synchroing up, going ahead and making that Shooting Quasar Dragon. Going to go ahead and attack right into the Egyptian God Sign, but remember, it can't be destroyed by battle over here. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Reborn, bringing back that Formula Synchron. He's going to go ahead and now activate Ancient Chant. We're going to go ahead and actually bring out the Winged Dragon of Ra. Remember, because he used that effect, he can't actually respond to it. And this card has 11,000 attack, and it's going to go ahead and actually attack over that Quasar. I thought that one was really cool, but we got another win condition off of, this one's more of a troll, so if you like troll plays, this one's definitely going to be awesome for you guys over there. I'm going to go ahead and swap it so we can see it from the POV of the Numeron player over here. But I'm curious to know if any of you guys have actually lost to this deck with that effect, because most of the time, my homie over here, Teriyaki, big shout out to him for hooking me up with the gameplay. He said a lot of people would just quit on him once he made it, and obviously I wanted to see the win condition victory, you know, which we already showed off, which is very difficult to get. And on top of that, I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you guys have played Yu-Gi-Oh! This day and age, a lot of times your opponent will just quit on you if you just activate New Wrong Gate. Or you just like literally can summon anything, and if your opponent doesn't have a hand trap, they just leave the game. And it's just how people are. People just don't have the patience, I think, and that includes myself too, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I just get a little bit salty if my opponent activates like 500 cards and it hasn't even gotten to my turn yet. I'm just like, dude, is this solitaire? And then they end up making so many negates where it doesn't really matter if you quit, because like you couldn't have played anyways, regardless, right? He's gonna go ahead and activate the Revelation, gonna go ahead and get the Reborn, bring back Side for the Sky Dragon, and then this is pretty hype. He activates Thunder Force attack, popping all the monsters, drawing extra cards. But remember, guys, what happens when you destroy that card is gonna bring out the guy with 100,000 attack and Side for the Sky Dragon. Well, he doesn't have over 100,000 attack. He's going to go ahead and actually use that effect where he's negating that attack and able to go ahead and heal up. So you guys now got to see the other effect of these iC1000 over here. And now we have some troll plays and face. He's going to go ahead and now pop this as a quick effect. This card is actually so bad. This card really needs the effect where it cannot be targeted. Like, it is not easy to pull off because it requires Sunya to be destroyed, and then the other card has to be destroyed, and then this card has to come out and not be destroyed. Like, it's just, again, a lot of steps for it to successfully go off. But now that you guys have seen it in action, let's go ahead and hop right into a deck profile for these builds. So here are the two variants over here for the deck. So there's the Zexal variant where you get to go ahead and rank up with the Doom Force, and there's the one where you get to go ahead and just use like the Numeron engine over here for just the network, and then just go right into it. Which one is better? I mean, this one is faster, but this one still can like kind of play, and like obviously with the ability to go ahead and draw a bunch of cards. I was also thinking the draw power card when you have all the Exceed monsters for the multiple draws, which is called the Hope. Where is it? It's like Zexal Hope or something like that. Memories of Hope, that's what it's called. So you're gonna draw cards equal to the number of Exceed monsters with different names you control. I think this card can be an excellent addition, but you'll have to obviously modify some of the other cards in the deck. But I just was gonna give this as another great suggestion over here. But I'm just gonna go mouse over them really quick over here as I'm gonna give you guys both of the deck profiles. But pretty much the same in terms of the extra deck. Well, the Utopia one just has a lot of the Utopia ones, but it's just triple copies of Aura and Rekia, and then obviously, because you basically end your turn on blank board, you gotta run Battle Fader, Swap Scarecrow. Again, this deck is not meant to be meta at all, but we have the Numeral Wall, we got the 1-for-1, and we have the Search Out the Unchained, and then we got the Terraforming. It's pretty much just go straight into the combo, and again, it's just not easy to pull off realistically in what I would consider more of an actual duel. This one you can maybe pull it off a little bit faster if you decide to make it more like D hero based, and then you just go straight into the combo. Although that one duel was like several turns long, it was like turn 18 until like it came out, but it could be something to consider to play it more like a normal deck and have it as like an alternate win condition versus trying to turbo it out as quickly as possible for, of course, that gameplay. But I'll go ahead and mouse over this build as well. It's just basically a rank 4 spam deck. It's pretty much like the utopic builds with like S0, although like instead of going for S0, which would probably be better, yes, but the point of the video was to go ahead and see this card actually be summoned with that 100,000 attack and actually getting that win condition. Remember that it only gains that bonus during your opponent's turn only, so you're not gonna be able to like attack your opponent with that, but you could still attack your opponent for 10,000 or a huge amount of attack anyways with, of course, the C1000 Numeronius over here, so you can still do a lot of work as you guys saw from the gameplay, even without this as a win condition. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you guys are new here and you want to see more new crazy Yu-Gi-Oh gameplays when things come out, hit subscribe, turn that bell, and you'll definitely see more. But take care, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. And I'm signing out. Peace.